yeah, so then obviously people don't compete. Fun fact, guys, not to make it about me, I was meant to compete this season.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, me and Alex.
She happened.
And then she did. I mean, there's you know, positives and negatives about, like, not, obviously I've had a baby, so we wanted a baby. There was very much a thing. Didn't expect it to happen when it did because we were doing other shit, which is obviously when baby. Hello and welcome back to the Fit Minds podcast. Coach Mariah here and Coach Chloe Jane.
Hello.
Yes. How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good, actually.
You're looking fine, mighty fine. Notice you do your makeup all nice for podcast day.
Just for podcast day, you know.
This lady does not.
Trust me, there was lots of ums and ahhings about it this morning. I was like, should I spend an extra hour in bed?
No. Oh, wait. I would say yes right now. Yes, all of the time in bed.
Yeah.
So today, what are we covering today, Chloe?
We are going to cover the topic of IFBB and ICN and how we feel about the ever-changing categories.
Yeah, and divisions and the crossover between divisions as well. Like where, because this is a common misconception that if you're a natty competitor that you shouldn't go anywhere near IFBB.
Yeah, I think I've had that in my head for quite a while in terms of you don't have a chance at doing very well.
There's that kind of imposter syndrome, I think, perhaps, that we get as natty competitors. We think that we're not going to belong on stage, or that we're going to get romped, or that we're going to look silly. Or I actually think because it's about the show over the weekend, IFBB Queensland State Show. If you missed it, you're obviously not a bodybuilding fan. Fanatic. And if you missed it and you're not a fanatic, that's also okay, because not everything's about bodybuilding. But well, actually,
No.
I mean, I was watching, I think for the first few divisions, sorry guys, I did not watch men's physique.
Yeah, I didn't.
We don't watch.
I mean, Josh was watching a fair bit of the men's stuff, but
yeah,
I was doing housework.
I didn't watch bikini.
Oh, I
admittedly did not watch bikini. I'm so sorry. It's a bit aggressive.
I watched a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
I had it just playing on in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because it was a long day, obviously, as well. Season A is always a bit smaller. Yeah, so I think Season A is always, like, quieter.
Yeah.
Notoriously, in every federation.
I was going to say, I think that's for every federation.
Across the board, and why? Because Christmas. Yeah. Christmas, New Year's, literally every reason under the sun as to why. Collecting hair. For anyone listening to the podcast, like, what are these people saying?
What the fuck are they doing?
Watch the vlog, guys. There'll be context. Yeah, so then obviously people don't compete. Fun fact, guys, not to make it about me, I was meant to compete this season.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, me and Alex.
She happened.
And then she did. I mean, there's you know, positives and negatives about, like, not, obviously I've had a baby. So we wanted a baby. There was very much a thing. Didn't expect it to happen when it did because we were doing other shit, which is obviously when babies appear. But what was really ironic about it was that I would have been up against exactly the same girl that beat me at ICN, who looked incredible, Lisa.
Yeah.
And then I beat her at NBA a week later by 3 places, and I will always hold on to that. Yeah, going, hold on, you know, different federations, different standards, different criteria, all that sort of stuff. But for me, that was a penny drop moment where I realised, hold on, I don't have to be so intimidated by IFBB, because the one that won was the only one that came close to me in another show. Yeah. And in another show, I beat her anyway.
How long ago was that?
Oh, 2021. Yeah. So a couple of years ago. She's grown a lot since. Like, you can see her quads.
Yeah, but in your off-season, before you fell pregnant, you got massive.
Yeah, I did. Well. Yeah, I did. Those photos that I took in off-season were insane. Like, I honestly was like, fuck, I didn't realise how jacked I could get and how quickly. And so, yeah, I guess it does give you hope. Like, it makes you realise if I did this again, that, you know, I wouldn't be striked off the list, and that I could give it a go. I think as a natty competitor, even if you get on that stage, that's an accomplishment. Yeah. So, but, you know, and I don't know about, I think Lisa's incredible, her physique now. You can kind of see as well, she's quite tall in the figure category.
Yeah.
Across the comparisons, she had it on conditioning.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. And muscle mass, that's right. But then you could see her quads were, and this is her problem.
Yeah.
Not quite big enough, not big.
And like I said to you the other day, I think that emphasises the upper body.
Yeah, you end up looking bigger and wider.
Yeah.
So, but overall, she had the best package.
100%. Easily.
My opinion of what's going to happen down at Nationals, I hope she does quite well. I do know there's another competitor who there's two others I think that I was watching. What's her name? Is it Selwyn or something like that? Fucking monster. Holy shit. A beautiful monster. From Victoria or New South Wales? I don't know. I always bunch those states together. Same fucking state. Yeah. They're going to hate me for saying that. I don't know whether her name's Selwyn or what it is. Maybe it is Selwyn. I can't remember. Anyway, absolutely, I'd say monster in the biggest compliment in figure.
Yeah. If someone says to me like, "Oh, you're a fucking jacked monster,"
a weapon, like, you're like, hell yeah. But if she got up into like 85 kilos, 90 kilos off season, and she had lines in her legs. Wow. Tall, but proportionate. Yeah, like big quads. You know, and I was like, you have worked hard for that physique. Yeah. So I watch her and follow her at the moment. Like, I would shit myself if I met her in person, truly. I would. Not because she's muscly, because I'm just so impressed.
Yeah.
Slightly intimidated. Yeah, slightly intimidated, but nah, she's probably really lovely. All the figure girls are. But yes, I watched that. It was a little bit, you know, like, that was meant to be me on stage, and it would have been...
You've got plenty of opportunity to get up there again.
Well, I think if anything, I'm glad I didn't do it, because then I would have been up against the same, like Lisa.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you want variation.
Different. Yeah. There was other women there, and what I was really interested though by was the other women in figure some of them looked natty, some of them kind of looked like they were, you know, like they could have got an ICN.
The same in wellness.
Yeah, and positioning of bikinis, guys. Oh my God, even in figure and wellness, the amount of women I've seen putting the bikinis on their hips, not above.
Yeah.
And it's like that whole like 90s like low rider jean look. Don't do it. Give yourself some symmetry. Hike your bikini up. Yeah. It makes your waist look smaller. Yeah. Your legs look slightly longer. Yeah. Not for everybody, but yeah. Anyway, so that was interesting. So that's figure. Figure was fucking wild conditioning though. The live feed, you look at the live feed and you're like, eh. Then you see the photos.
Yeah. And you're like, holy
feathering, striations.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. But anyway, figures a whole nother thing. I didn't watch bikini. Classic, men's classic. We'll talk about the juicy stuff last. Men's classic, there was a guy, I don't know his name.
I didn't watch it, so...
I didn't watch it either, but apparently he's been trying for a pro card for ages, and he has got a very pro card worthy physique. He's won the overall, but did they get pro cards yesterday? No. Not at stage shows. It's pro card qualifier.
Nationals.
Yeah.
Get pro cards.
Which is weird, because in America, they hand them out like candy.
Yeah, well, that's what I said to you before. Like, I'm in this bodybuilding page thing on Facebook, and they're like people with killer physiques, but winning pro cards, you're sort of like,
I almost feel like a pro status in America doesn't have as much
meaning,
value, or weighting.
Yeah.
But the show overall was quite competitive considering yesterday. And then what's it called? Bikini. I want to quickly touch on bikini before, because we're gonna talk about wellness quite extensively, because that's going to be the division that has the most probably controversy around it and all that type of stuff. So bikini, I didn't know many people competing, but I saw Rika Dawson. I think that's her name, Rika. Could be wrong. Rika competed, from my knowledge, in ICN, went pro with ICN. Very full of character and zest in life. She's a very outgoing girl, and I actually like her personality. She was meant to be doing figure with ICN this season. I don't keep up to date with what other competitors are doing. I'm not that stalky. But I remember her doing figure posing. She's won fitness and sports, right, in ICN. Then she went over and did bikini in IFBB. Now, I would have previously thought, because she's got if you've ever seen Rika's back, fucking massive.
Jacked.
Like bigger than some of the figure girls I've seen.
Oh, wow.
Like wide, really wide back.
Yeah.
amazing to grow a back that big, and also genetically probably has those proportions and that structure. But she went over to bikini, and I was thinking, you know, maybe the back might be too big for bikini, but she did something really interesting. She really posed her back down. Like, you could barely tell that she has this massive back.
And sometimes I find even in bikini, they do have a wide back in the way that they pose. They are very X-framed.
Yeah. Even more so, I've noticed the shift in Australian IFBB, thankfully, to a more muscular bikini.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me a bit of like the Olympia, the standard that they look at for the Olympia.
I would even say, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're more muscular in bikini over here sometimes. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Some of the first, second, thirds I've seen have been fucking shredded and jacked.
And I love it.
Yeah, I'm not in disagreement with it. I think we just have to make sure it's uniform.
Yeah, it's quite hard to distinguish that.
Yeah, because sometimes in the top 3 in IFBB in Australia, you'll see a soft girl make it into the top 3, and I'm like, well, if you're going to do hard, you know.
Yeah.
But it could be that they've gotten points for their symmetry, and maybe that, you know, another girl was not quite as symmetrical, didn't have the glutes. So we can't always think that, you know, I think sometimes conditioning overshadows everything, and we go, but she wasn't that lean or whatever, and we don't actually think about the overall structure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it too. I like the hard bikini, conditioning bikini.
Yeah.
But, you know, as far as crossover from divisions goes, we were talking about, like, how would someone from ICN go at IFBB bikini if they were doing bikini or swimsuit at ICN and bikini or swimsuit, sorry, swimsuit with IFBB, bikini with IFBB.
It's tricky. I don't think they'd go very
well,
personally.
Not, the concept is if you've done well in ICN in bikini, you've obviously got a softer physique because that's the way they market. They don't want lots of lines.
Well, I know last season a chickie that was doing wellness in ICN went across and did bikini and just posed her legs down.
Yeah. How'd she?
She didn't do...
She made call-outs?
No.
No. Okay.
But she had like a good physique.
Yeah. Just wasn't quite that criteria.
Yeah, and I think as well, as shitty as it is to say, because she was natty, she didn't really have the shoulders, or she was sort of that person that you could tell sort of stood out. Yeah,
that's right. And sometimes you can. Sometimes the natties, you can tell them apart. Sometimes you can't.
No.
Sometimes you know they're a genuine natty and they look like they've been on gear, which is, this is why we can't go around pointing fingers, because we don't really know.
Well, it's like I had someone a while ago tell me that I looked like I was running. And I was like, thank you. Yeah,
it's a compliment.
But I'm not.
With your legs, yeah, it's a bit wild. So I guess like what I'm trying to say with the crossover is like, if you did ICN bikini, a swimsuit, not saying you're not good enough. It's just, if you've got a first place or whatever, you may not do well in IFBB. However, I remember there was one, I think she won an overall or something, or got first in ICN, and she did go in place at IFBB.
Oh, wow.
But that was, Off Tap's client. The bikini, I don't know her name, bikini competitor. I watched the show last season, I think. And it was one placing. So I think amongst the others she didn't place, but one or two maybe. She was one of those hybrids that she could pose soft at ICN, come to IFBB, probably pull some carbs out and come in hard, and all of a sudden post harder. And it is honestly a lot about posing.
Yes.
100%. If you've got a conditioned physique already, you can pose down or you can, tense. So it explains the phenomena that when we, do a video in the mirror or whatever, we can look soft if we're just kind of just hanging. Relaxing. And then like we tense and we've got lines.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we can go from being like a normie to then going and being like jacked or lean.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because then like in normal people clothes we just look like...
I just look like a potato.
I feel like a balloon, in the off seasons, unless we go like this and like throw a bicep up.
Sometimes I feel like I have to walk like with my legs pointed out so that
do these ones and like I do have a line in here, but that's bodybuilding. We have severe body dysmorphia, and oftentimes people see us in a way that we don't. But So generally, yeah, like if you're a softer physique, if you're aiming for ICN, probably you could just do IFBB and see how you go.
Yeah.
Jackie was her name. You know, I think it was Jackie. Sorry if I'm getting people's names wrong and people listening to this
podcast. That's why I don't.
Yeah, I'm fucked with names, so I'll probably end up calling you something that you're not, and you go, no, that's not my name, but okay, Mariah, thanks for the kudos anyway. It's because I don't give a shit, like honestly, I don't give a shit about other people's clients, not because I don't, you know, it's because they're not my client, so not my business.
Yeah.
I'll oftentimes, though, still be able to admire.
I was going to say, there's admiration.
Oh, I stay out of their inboxes, I don't talk to them, like, that's just, you know, you don't cross boundaries there, it's like, bro code. So, but then what I do see a pretty strong crossover with is ICN / ICN fitness into IFBB bikini, right? Because I've seen quite a few ICN fitness. Rika was fitness.
Yeah.
Montana from Off Tap, she did IFBB. There's a few others and they don't look out of place.
No, that's the thing. Yeah.
If they're doing IFBB posing, they don't look out of place as long as they don't have the kind of really like dominant traps.
Yeah.
And that they don't look too hard.
Yeah.
So there's a crossover there. There is one.
Definitely.
But it's not always super accurate.
Yeah.
And then wellness, like wellness, is there a crossover there? Have we seen it in
there
not enough seasons?
A couple, I think it was ICN. Did we say Michaela?
Michaela, yes.
Yeah, so she
did IFBB first.
Yeah, and did really well in IFBB.
Got a third. Yep.
And then went and no, I think she did ICN first.
No, she did IFBB first because when the story is going to obviously progress, is that she'd already placed an IFBB and then she went off to do ICN and then there was this like, I think it was like lesser place in ICN.
Yeah, well she didn't do as well in ICN as she did in IFBB. So
there was a bit of uproar about that.
Yeah, but it's hard because the natural federations, especially ICN, don't par with what they're looking for in terms of IFBB and NBA. No,
I would agree. And you got to imagine too, like as I was saying to you before, in a division that is so fresh, wellness in the natty sense is very fresh, even in the untested sense is quite fresh.
Yeah.
We haven't really even had wellness around much in Australia.
No.
And we're still picking up momentum.
Yeah.
You know, competitors are still less than 10 on stage. And that's across divisions.
Yeah.
Same with figure though, but figure's never going to take off. I'm so sorry. In Australia, figure will always be a quiet division.
Yeah.
And the major reason why is because it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there. It's not even because it's not popular.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Yeah.
But it's also really hard. Wellness, same thing though. I believe that wellness is quite popular. Everybody wants to be wellness. But are you actually wellness?
Yeah.
And that's the topic we're going to go into. But there is a crossover, I would say there's more of a crossover from NBA wellness into IFBB.
Absolutely.
Right? And the same with NBA bikini to IFBB.
Yeah.
The reason why? NBA modelled their marking criteria off IFBB marking criteria. It's just a natty version.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to Stu about this.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to personal preference. Like, I personally prefer that.
Yes.
But, you know, like, I don't slander ICN at all.
No.
It's a great federation.
Yeah.
But personally, I prefer more the look of the IFBB.
Yeah.
And want to be able to compete on that sort of level, but with natural competitors.
Yeah.
You know, that way I still, like, I feel like if I was to step on the IFBB stage in the condition that I was when I did NBA, I probably wouldn't have done that well. Not in that season.
No, I think, and we would have known the gaps as well because, I mean, if you're going to compete in a natty fed that is an IFBB version, you're always going to be a step down from IFBB.
Yeah. Well, I said to Josh, I said, I reckon if I had posed down my legs, I probably could have gone. But not really because I didn't have the shoulder size into bikini.
Oh, yeah, you could have tried bikini for sure. You wouldn't have looked silly because there was a lot of people there that did have more sizable legs as well.
But once again, it's just the way you pose.
Yeah. Oh, posing is everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and on the note of ICN as well, not to slander them or talk shit about them, I think the big thing with ICN is they've been around for so long, they want to differentiate themselves from IFBB.
Yeah.
So the problem is that and I've seen this and I understand the issue, if they make themselves too much like IFBB, like NBA has, what's their point of difference?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the reason why they have a softer bikini division is because that's, I don't know, like that's their thing.
Yeah.
You know, does it exist in any other federation? No.
Yeah.
Something that I think that ICN does quite well, I love their fitness and sports divisions. I think they do, most years, I completely agree with their marking of fitness and sports.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like they've really nailed that,
Yeah,
you know.
they've got that down pat.
Bikini, I'll always have a personal frustration with bikini because as a bodybuilder, you know, purposely being softer makes me angry.
Yeah.
But then again,
I think that's what I mean in terms of me preferring that NBA IFBB.
That's right.
They don't, but they didn't want soft.
No. And this is the problem too. You'll have a lot of people who've competed with ICN go into NBA and not like it and go, "Arr," because they're going into their bikini and they're getting beat.
Yeah.
By and as I said before, NBA's bikini marking criteria is some of the best bikini bodies I've seen in Australia.
Yeah.
Like they are very competitive. Like those lineups are fucking insane.
Yeah, literally.
You know, there's not a single body on stage you think,
you don't belong.
yeah, you don't belong here. That's right. And whereas, you know, and not that I say ICN isn't competitive, but there's such a licorice all sorts.
Yeah.
There's like all sorts of different types of bikini physiques on stage. So, and that's the issue with being quite popular and being around for so long is that you'll end up with that.
Yeah,
you'll end up with
exactly,
everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So it's different. It's just different. I think the good thing about ICN is they offer lots of different, you know, categories and divisions.
How do you feel about their new
the new one? Look, I think because they had a streetwear division as well. I don't know whether they pulled that or whether they're putting that. I don't know whether it's still there.
I don't think so.
The gym wear category.
See, it reminds me they're trying to dabble into the FMG, the posing ones.
Oh, do they?
Posing ones.
Oh, so they're just letting them go freestyle and.
It's like sort of like the whole like hair flicks and arms
But
up.
in gym gear.
But in gym gear.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, we will see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think that we've got to look at it from a perspective of a business thing, right? They're doing it because they want to offer diversity. Obviously, it's come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone's gone, I want more of this, I want more of that. They're trying to make everybody happy. A division will always show you how it goes because it either flops or it doesn't. That's right.
Yeah.
And also whether the crowd likes it, you know, like
yeah,
whether anyone stays to watch it.
Backlash on the post that they made. I'm surprised they followed through with it. But yeah, like you said, it'll be interesting.
It's hard because it doesn't exist in the other federations.
Yeah, it's a new...
And so that's why it's going to get not rejected, but probably a lot of criticism to start off with, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. But do I, look, because I'm old school bodybuilding, do I agree with lots of different fucking random divisions? Not particularly, but for example, I absolutely support divisions of, like disabled divisions. Like, of course, you know, like that's different.
And like the transformation.
Yeah, transformation, 100%.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I think if it is actually a transformation too, you see some people go in those and you're like, did you transform? Did you actually? We've all been there, right? Like, did you actually transform? Like, was this, or should you just be in the same divisions? Because if you lose 15 to 20 kilos in your prep, like, that's not a transformation, that's just a prep.
That's prep. Yeah, well, if I look back at, I lost 65, close to 70 during prep. Well, like, during my journey and...
Oh, all up. And you didn't do transformation?
No.
You probably could have.
I probably could have.
But that probably wasn't where your heart was. You wanted to, as far as I'm aware, you wanted to compete not off the bat of your transformation. You wanted to compete off the bat that you were just a competitor and that was it.
Exactly right. Like, my journey definitely played a big role in it. But, like, I was where I was at and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to compete.
Kind of like even playing field, so to speak. Yeah. So, and obviously crossover from ICN NBA figure to IFBB figure, yes, there is an obvious crossover there. Do I think every competitor in ICN and NBA would fit in an IFBB? No.
Yeah.
Do I think every figure competitor on stage yesterday fit in? No.
Yesterday?
Yes, Sunday. I know what day it is. Sunday. Do I think that all the figure competitors there on the day were IFBB worthy? No.
Yeah.
And that's probably a really rough thing to say. If I wasn't in the right condition to be on IFBB stage, I just wouldn't compete.
Yeah.
Right? And
that's a coach's fault, though.
Absolutely.
That's not
sometimes the competitors push and go, oh, I just want to be on stage and just do it even though I don't fit in or whatever. And this is the thing, because I've only ever had one IFBB competitor, and even that was an interesting situation as well, because that was a pivot. It wasn't even meant to be IFBB, and then it was I just want to do IFBB. So that's never going to go well. At 16 weeks out, when you go, I want to do IFBB, you're fucked. Like, you can't pivot federations at that point, because the plan has to completely change and you don't have enough time.
No.
You will never have enough time.
Yeah.
But that she didn't look stupid. She looked normal. It's just that she wasn't quite lean enough.
Yeah.
So, and that was, you know, I've told her that. Yeah. Even at 16 weeks out, I was like, not going to be lean enough. Just letting you know. Still not going to be lean enough. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
I just want to compete. So, you know.
Yeah.
And look, no harsh feelings or anything. It is what it is. But I don't have IFBB competitors, or like as in I don't like to do them, because I don't want to prep somebody unless I know they're going to do very well.
Is that why you said yes to
I'm
me?
I'm incredibly, how would I put it, picky.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I don't know how to. Of course I know how to prep somebody into IFBB. It's not an issue. It's you're going up against using athletes. You need to be so aware of what you're putting up there.
Yeah.
But for you and the athlete, you don't want them to be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a great physique.
It's not cheap.
No.
You know, and it's like, yeah, you get the experience, but at what cost?
If they've got a fantastic physique and they end up doing well in a natural federation against natural athletes, awesome. Yeah. What is wrong with that?
Yeah.
If they have this very strong desire to do IFBB for whatever reason as a natural athlete, okay. Only if I think you're going to do really well. Only if I think you perfectly fit that criteria.
Yeah.
And this is what I've said to you about, you know, like you going to IFBB as well. It's like, we want to take our time with this, right? And get this right, as opposed to going, I just want to fucking do IFBB.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I haven't really put like a time limit on it. I'm just sort of like, we will continue to grow until we sort of reach a point where we're like, all right.
Yeah, now we can pull the trigger.
Now we can pull the trigger, yeah.
Yeah. And we know we've got to grow your upper and your glutes.
Yep.
Those are the two focal points.
Yep, absolutely.
So I guess on that note, now that we've kind of nutted out all the other stuff, because the big topic we want to talk about today is how wellness went over the weekend with IFBB. We're going to do this in a way that is, because there's some actually really good points, and, you know, I can see what they're trying to do there. Yeah. And I suppose as well, like, what's happening with the Australian standard versus the American standard, and, you know, do we have a chance at competing internationally or even doing well internationally if we continue down this path?
Yeah.
Or is it America that's, you know, are they leading the way? Usually you would say yes, because they are the bodybuilding mecca.
Yeah. Well, right off the bat, there's the video that IFBB released. Don't know what his name is.
He's an American judge, I think.
Yeah.
Or possibly on the board.
He released a video explaining that the criteria that they're looking for is not too big enough. But yeah, he pretty much said that wellness competitors are getting too big.
Which is also the case for many other divisions.
But the thing is, though, over in America, they're still rewarding women with fucking ridiculously big
like horse legs, yeah. I think, and the other thing is too, you've got to know they've worked their ass off to get their legs that big. Like we're seeing physiques that we would not have seen 10 years ago, let alone 5.
I think as well, they're also trying to cut back on the amount of PEDs that women are doing.
100% from a safety perspective. Yeah. Because they're dying.
Yeah, well, I remember when I first sort of mentioned that I wanted to compete in the IFBB wellness like a couple of years ago. Like that's the goal sort of thing ultimately. And I was told the amount of gear that you will need to use to be competitive, it is not worth it. But now, like looking at what happened over the weekend, it's like, I could do this naturally.
Yeah. And I would actually suggest doing it naturally now, seeing the direction they're taking wellness in. Because that's the thing, if you go too far, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
You can't, muscle wasting, if you're told get smaller, it's pretty heartbreaking.
Oh, if it genuinely was a case of someone telling me to get smaller, I would not compete again. Because at the end of the day, I
feel like an
love
insult.
The wellness category for the sake of, I love to destroy my legs when I train. I love the look of the big legs.
The proportions.
If someone's telling me that that's not what they're looking for, then that's the only reason I'm competing in that category.
That's right. That was what you fell in love with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be the same in figure as if they said to me, your back's too wide.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, excuse me?
Yeah,
I took years to grow these wings. I think, too, there's a difference between what we personally feel comfortable doing and what they want to do with the criteria. And that's a really hard pill to swallow. But from what I could see over the weekend in wellness, and there was a lot of confusion around it. Like, there was, you could see in comments, there was feedback of, like, so first up, I'll talk about the first timers and novice divisions, and then was there a junior wellness division? No, I don't think so. Not enough competitors. Yeah. But mind you, the most competitors they've seen on a wellness stage so far. I'm pretty sure. I think it was 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
10 or 13. Like it was.
Oh, I don't think it was 13.
I thought they had 6 and 6. So maybe it was 11.
No, I'm not sure.
Or maybe there was competitors that were not very memorable.
Sorry. I forgot about you.
Again, this is a podcast without the fluff.
Yeah.
We're very honest. But it was enough for them to be able to call out numerical order twice, which was pretty cool. Yeah. There was a mistake made there, though, in the opens where they called out the 3 numbers to do a walk to the back of stage where they gave away first, second, third for comparisons.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, do you know what you just did by doing that? You literally told us who first, second, third are, prematurely. So there's a few little, I was like, guys, come on. But it's easy to be critical in that moment. And perhaps that's what they wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to just go, you know what, these are our top 3 and we're just gonna, make them battle it out for that walk to back of stage.
Yeah.
Novice divisions. We're not going to mention any names. Well, except probably the big name that competed and won, because that's probably relevant. I don't like, getting to it. I know half these competitors quite well, so I wouldn't want to be too, we can mention names, but not in a negative sense. So I know that first timers and novice divisions, there was a particular competitor that seemed to clean up throughout the first timers and novice. Yeah. Would we agree that, and from what I could see, prior to her getting the first, I didn't even have her in the top 3.
No.
Why? She looked like bikini. It was more of a bikini physique. There were a couple poses that I saw some glute ham ties, but her walk to back of stage, her glutes looked not glute ham tie. It was like maybe genetically the shape of her glutes, I'm not quite sure, but she was smaller. Yeah. Like all over. Legs were smaller. Didn't really have disproportionate upper to lower from what I could see. Again, not the best footage, so maybe it was my perspective, but that was my opinion of that, was that it was looked like they were moving away from...
Yeah, when I compare the true novice and novice to overall, there is such a big
difference. Correct. I've seen that in bikini as well. Like in bikini, true novice and novice, it seems like they've got like slightly softer in true novice and novice, and then overall is like jacked and hard. And I'm like, I don't know, what are they doing here? Because it's not like the opens have only got open competitors. Yeah. Some of the novice are in opens.
Exactly.
So that was what I noticed as well.
It's a bit, I was baffled.
Same. Yeah.
I understand that potentially a certain someone was too hard or whatever, but like when I compared her physique in terms of over in America, they're on par.
That's right.
But then you also dabble into that video that they released, and it's like, we're not looking for that, rah, rah, rah. And that's what I said before. It's confusing as fuck.
It's almost like what they say and what they do are 2 different things.
Yeah, because they reward that over there, but then Here, it's like, we don't want that, but we're going to award that. Because, yeah, when I look at Emily's physique, I'm like, she's borderline.
Yeah. Well, she went from figure in WBFF to wellness. Granted, the transformation was big, right? Yeah. So, but also too, like, we think about the convenience. She had a shoulder injury in recon, from my memory, and
I saw that.
So then she had to detrain her shoulders anyway. So I think she actually rolled with that and was like, well, I'm gonna have to detrain.
Well, I saw an Instagram post of hers that she actually always admired the wellness and wanted to be wellness.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't really ever have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So maybe, I'm the same. Like, I'm like a figure athlete that would love to be wellness, but I know that my upper body grows really well and my lower doesn't grow as well. And so I've just got to kind of, swallow that.
Yeah.
So maybe Emily just saw the shot of like, well, I've done my shoulder. Like, why not? I'm going to have to take all this time off training upper body. Like, why not step into wellness? I've always loved it.
Yeah.
She did really work very hard. You see the way she trains. I've met Emily down in the Gold Coast and I was at a WBFF show. Nice lady, really lovely.
Yeah.
So as in person.
Yeah.
Don't know what she's like as a coach. Wouldn't be able to speak on that. Short, not tall, not overly tall.
Usually watch wellness.
Crazy legs though.
Yeah.
Legs are just insane. But as I was saying, Emily was very. I won't talk too much about what the other competitors didn't do right because you could go on for hours about whatever you speculate.
Yeah.
Emily was very smart in what she did with her posing. Correct. The pose forward, as I mentioned to you, we'd had chats. Yeah, if you go look back over the footage, Emily does this thing where she leans forward, but then also keeps her shoulders back. So if you were to look at that from the side, it looked like she's just contortioning her body. She poses forward, and the concept behind that is if you're watching the vlog, you'll be able to see this as a demonstration. The judges are down here, right? The stage is up here. So if you imagine, like, if you've got a painting, an artwork, if you have it like straight upright, standing upright,
it's gonna look
skewed, right? So you're gonna look, probably if you think about it, wider towards the, just trying to think optical illusion wise, base, I don't know. But if you, like, it's even when you take photos and videos with a camera, have you noticed like where you have a camera, right?
Absolutely.
So you'd have to lean your physique forward towards the judges so the judges can see what you're doing. And see your physique from that perspective, so it looks like it's front on to them.
Yeah.
Does this mean we should put judges on a stage, like up a bit higher? I mean, maybe. Like, maybe that might be a way of fixing it so that people don't have to pose like, completely contortioned. But what I noticed with some other competitors, if they had a naturally square waist, they weren't posing it right.
Yeah.
So they were. I saw this down south. There was a girl we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, she had
killer physique.
Crazy physique, just didn't know how to pose properly.
Yeah, as in she had done it before in pictures, right? You could see she'd pose well because the camera was all angled properly. But by the time she got to stage, the pictures taken on stage showed a square waist because she hadn't figured out how to pose to the judges.
Yeah.
So Emily did a very, very good job of knowing what it would look like. And because she's done multiple shows.
Yeah.
From the judge's perspective, she knew how to pose.
And I guess she had every right to be rewarded for that.
Correct, because posing is a huge component.
Oh, absolutely.
Did she necessarily have the... I think genetically her physique is impressive.
Yeah.
Do I think that is the only reason why she wins? No.
No.
I think her posing and the way that she can move her body in the way that she shows off the best side of her body is... And she does have a smaller waist, that granted. She does have a smaller waist. Yeah, like that top three, I knew the top three in the Open, I knew all of the competitors. Like, one of my sponsors, one of them and their partner. Another one is another fellow coaches that I've actually beat that competitor myself in another division, which is, total different story. And then, Emily, don't know her personally, met her, but know the situation. So, and did I think of that top three? Did I think that the order of that was right? Yeah. Of those top three, I do. I definitely do. Do I think that in other divisions there should have been some, I don't know, there was some questionable calls? Yes, but I think it was based on a combination of things. I think it was based on, as you mentioned, They're trying so hard to steer away from a very conditioned, you know, muscular physique, and also posing.
Yeah,
it was those two components that I saw that just. Yeah, from a judge's perspective, that all the judges can see is what they can see.
In front of them.
They don't just know that you have a small waist. They don't just know that you've got
Instagram pickies.
They don't know that about you. That all they see is what you present them.
Exactly right. That's why, like, you've got to, like, when you blow out and shit like that, you know, like, you just think, fuck. Like, you look back at their pictures before they get carved up, and you're just like, oh. Like, what have you done?
Some mistakes, common mistakes I've seen with specifically wellness competitors, because a lot of muscle, too much fibre on show day, or, you know, so their stomach's bloated out.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to go to the toilet, and that's a lot to do with, weirdly enough, competitors think they've got to take a ton of laxatives. Problem is that if you've been taking laxatives all the way through prep, it completely fucks your digestion, and you end up not being able to go to the toilet.
I've got a girlfriend that has that issue.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, if your coach currently loads you with laxatives, question it, because I don't have to do that with my girls. Yes, there's times through prep we use a little bit of Movicol here and there, but like peak week, I'm not smashing you with laxatives. It's, you know, we have a normal amount of fibre in the lead up to it. Because you're going to have more carbs, it's inevitable that you'll probably have more fibre, but just keeping that under control. And then, you know, low fibre on show day, just to stop you from blowing out, not having a ton of protein on show day. Like, very simple things, not just, you know, trying to slowly put carbs in, not just, you know, 3,000 calories in one whole day. But anyway, those peak week protocols, I've probably had a handful of my girls, you know, have a slightly bloated belly on show day, and it's usually because they get their period.
Yeah.
So it's a very uncontrollable circumstance there. But, yeah, so also tummy control.
Yeah, it's huge.
If you don't, you know, whether you're bloated or not, if you don't have tummy control, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Even in transitions, a lot of people let their tummies go. I watch it in a transition. It's like they hold it in, and the transition is...
Yeah, it's like, oh, really?
No, they can see that too.
Yeah.
So, because it's...
I feel like the only pose that I relaxed my tummy in was my back pose.
Well, that's the one you're allowed to do it in.
And you go, oh.
As long as you can't see it from behind.
And then...
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the idea. That's your respite, right? You get that break, and then you come back again around the other way. So, yeah, anyway, there's a lot to be said. Not to say that it's a damn shame, because the physiques that I saw getting seconds and thirds were fucking wild. Like, as in very impressive.
Yeah.
You know, incredible work ethic and time has gone into that. You know, and then, for example, like, I think even second place in opens, I love her physique. I didn't think she'd be quite big enough for wellness. I thought, I don't know whether she'll actually... She's a petite girl anyway. And then she did quite well, and it's all proportionate as well. You got to think, even they're short, you know, they've got that trouble of, well, they're a smaller person anyway.
Yeah, exactly right.
I saw that in classic physique. I did spot the top 3 in classic physique. He was a small dude, but proportionately, it's almost like you got to imagine what they'd look like if they were zoomed in.
Like, I was gonna say, like,
okay, mini person, like, now let's blow you up. That's right, and in bodybuilding as well. But the bodybuilding division was quite impressive too. The couple competitors that they had there, I also know the guy who got second. I think it was in opens as well. But yeah, overall,
did I agree with it? Not necessarily, but
we're not IFBB judges, so we can't really do anything about it.
And I respect the federation, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and be like, she didn't deserve to win, right?
No.
She didn't deserve to win that. At the end of the day, fucking prep is hard, and everybody works just as hard as the other. So I'm not going to diminish that, and you know, but I don't agree with it.
Yeah, and there was a few people like that. Not even the bias of those who knew the competitors, but just in general, I saw a lot of people going like, I'm not sure, I don't get this.
Yeah.
We never know. We never know what's happening. We don't even know whether Australia, you know, American organisers are talking to Australian organisers and saying tone your wellness down.
Yeah.
You know,
or whether that's just an executive decision that they make.
Correct. Absolutely, like they've done with men's physique. You know, a lot of men's physique competitors, even winners and those who placed in the last couple of years, have been natties. and have been smaller. Not, you know, have been getting marked down for being too big. Classic, I still think classic, they always let them go a bit bigger.
Yeah.
In classic, if they've got a small waist, they let them do it. But then in Australia as well, some of the classic competitors don't have a small waist that win, and that's kind of a bit of a shit show. Like, that pisses me off a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, you're just a bodybuilder, but slightly smaller.
Yeah, you're just a lower,
And then bodybuilding, go ham.
Fucking some of the men, I'm like, your legs are literally the size of my whole body.
Tree trunks, insane. How they have not broken their back by now. And probably they probably have broken their back, and they just
like a heart attack waiting to happen.
Right? Yeah, but they're impressive. Still impressive.
So impressive.
If you know, there's any male listeners out there, if you think the bigger is better when it comes to muscle proportions, as in like from a perspective of females, no. I mean, we find it impressive, but it doesn't mean that we're like, want to put a ring on it, you know, like I like the classic look myself. I think we just default to that. Anyway, but
just starting to stir.
Oh, and I didn't touch on women's physique, but Tracy Gill took out, and I'm glad she did, because she's a weapon.
Gorgeous.
Every time I see her, her whole face light. I used to work with her at World Gym. Yeah.
You know, I literally said to Josh, I was like, I hope she wins.
She's amazing.
Her stage presence.
She's done so many shows too.
Yeah,
stage presence. That. She really did, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know what happened in her last show, but I don't think she did as well as she wanted to. But there was another chick that I think got second. Fucking monster. Holy shit, man.
Jacked.
Weapon.
Fucking huge.
If I saw her at the end of the street running towards me, I would die. I just
crawl into a ball.
Yeah, play dead on the road.
Yeah, I'm already dead. You can't get me.
You can eat me as a snack. But like, not making fun of them. Like,
oh no, like admiration.
So much respect.
Like,
so much respect.
Like
Tracy's a very hard worker. She's been doing this for years. I used to work with her at World Gym. She's always very kind to me, her and her partner. So anyway, but yeah, it's no coincidence. I have lots of connections in the fitness industry, and I know a lot of the competitors, and it's really, I always have this weird penny drop moment where I'm like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that person too. And we've had chats, and it's just odd, because I didn't ever think I'd be in this position where I would know all of the competitors and, will know of. Okay, that's it. We're going to finish up for the day before the baby wakes up. You must think my baby is just the best baby in the world and just sleeps all the time, but we're very tactful, so we wait till she falls asleep, and then we run into.
An hour ago, she was cracking it, and we're like, "Come on, shh!"
And then we run into the room to do the podcast really quickly. Yeah. So, thanks for listening, guys. Yeah. If there's any topics that you want us to cover,
I was going to say that. Let's put it out to the interweb.
Yeah, interweb.
Internet. Social media.
Puppies. Yeah, you're getting ASMR now from the baby. If there's any topics that you'd like over the next few weeks and months, let us know us to cover. We're going to try and do a nice assortment and keep baby crying out of it. But
yeah, it'll be fun. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Did we swear as much in that one?
I think I did.
Oh, did you?
I got a bit of a potty mouth anyway.
Well, I've got to go. Fuck. I've got to put a few more fucks.
Fuck shit.
I'm going to put a few more swear words in there. I was a little bit too Yeah, that's my bodybuilding hat. That's my coach hat there. That's what happens to go to the shows and pretend like I'm normal.
Yeah, I'm a saint.
Yeah, not quite. Actually, I saw Tony at one of the last shows when Alex was competing, and I had a quick chat with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm 15 weeks pregnant. And I was going to do IFBB, but I'm not now. And he goes, that's great.
Cool.
He's like, I don't care. It's like, oh, it's a great chat. Great chat.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.